Alright folks, let's take a moment and venture into a piece of history that will probably make you feel a little nervous and uneasy the next time you wander out into the outdoors to enjoy the fresh air and beauty of nature. This is no ordinary tale. It resonates with the same chilling essence we feel when we hear about the inexplicable disappearances in North America. But today's story is set in one of Australia's many vast and unpredictable landscapes. The year is 1897. Picture it, a simpler time when children freely roamed the outdoors, where the world itself was an undiscovered playground and every rustle in the bush held the promise of a new adventure. Enter the Kendall sisters, Louisa aged 7, Daisy aged 5 and Elsie aged 3, who lived in the rural farming district of Crainbob, located about 22 kilometres or 14 miles east of the municipality of Wagga Wagga. Neighbouring the sisters was their cousin Anastasia aged 4, and together they were a gang of bush kids. It was around 9 o'clock in the morning of August 28th when, as country kids often do, they embarked on what was supposed to be a regular day of exploration. As their footsteps pressed into the soft earth, their spirits were high, their bonds of sisterhood evident. With 3-year-old Elsie in tow, it was less about the distance and more about the discoveries waiting to be made. Now, the vastness of the Australian wilderness, even to those familiar, holds countless wonders. Barely 15 minutes into their journey, they chanced upon an innocent-looking possum nestled deep within the embrace of a hollow log. But the sight was enticing, but extracting the creature, that was the challenge. This is where youthful enthusiasm kicks in. Louisa, being the eldest, took it upon herself to rush home and bring back a tool, a tomahawk, a small axe, believing it'd aid in their little rescue mission. As the winds whispered secrets and the leaves rustled with anticipation, Louisa approached her home, only to be intercepted by a wary Agnes Kendall, their mother. Agnes, with the wisdom that often comes with age and experience, sensed an unsettling note in the day's melody. She decided it was best that she accompany Louisa back to where the little ones awaited. Let's try and map this out. 4 children, initially venturing a mere 15 minutes away from the safety of their home. Given their young ages and the distraction of the possum, they probably hadn't gone too far. Now, with the worry starting to cloud Agnes's mind, it's likely she made that journey in even less time. But nature, it's unpredictable. As they reached the location, a haunting silence met them. Their earlier lively chatter, excited squeals had all evaporated. The children had vanished into the vast embrace of the wilderness. Piecing together the day's events, it became evident that Daisy had ventured out a bit, probably driven by her youthful curiosity. Elsie and Anastasia's tracks painted a different picture. They appeared to have walked further, possibly drawn by something unseen or unheard. A local's testimony added another layer. He spoke of seeing the trio walking towards Crainbob Creek, engrossed in their innocent play. But as the sun bowed down, yielding to the night, an unforeseen storm began to brew. With dark clouds gathering overhead, the first droplets of rain began to erase all traces of the children's paths. The hours ticked by, and as darkness swallowed the day, panic set in. The girls' fathers, the Kendall brothers, their hearts heavy with dread, couldn't shake off the pressing feeling that something was terribly amiss. The alarm bells rang loud, and then it became a community's mission. Under the guidance of the mayor and local authorities, coupled with experienced bushmen on foot and horseback and Aboriginal trackers, search parties were formed, with good Samaritans rallying from miles away, some even from a staggering 100 miles off. These 100 or so volunteers, fueled by determination and hope, are relentless in their search efforts, commencing at first under lantern light that night and continuing into the coming days. They worked together, lined 30 yards or 27 metres apart, and they were noted to search the area systematically to ensure no area was left untouched. To those unfamiliar, this was not ordinary terrain. It was raw, uncharted, and at times merciless. 5 days passed, each more agonising than the last. The torrential downpour showed no signs of mercy, wiping clear all traces and tracks. From the Alfred Town Hotel, Inspector Smith relayed disheartening news. Despite a meticulous search spanning an area of 12 miles, not a trace of the children was found. He believed if they were still within this expanse, they would surely have been discovered. The urgency is clear in his voice. requesting additional horsemen from Wagga to join the efforts. Yet as the days pass, the landscape remains silent. The once burning hope dims into a faint glimmer. The community's heart yearns for the laughter of the children, and the desperate search continues. It was on one such gloomy day 5 days after the girls vanished that Mrs. Mary Ann Jones, a resident not too far from the Kendalls, noticed something amiss. The ominous circling of crows overhead a nearby paddock signalled a grim discovery. The chilling climax of this tale? Well, Mrs. Jones, drawn by a foreboding sense of dread, stumbled upon the lifeless bodies of the 3 sisters, located on the crest of a clear, open hill. An image forever etched in time. The girls laid out face down with legs outstretched, an eerie, precise semicircle, faces turned homeward with their shoes and hats conspicuously missing. The setting? Peaceful, with no indications of struggle or violence. Certainly not how you'd expect to find people who had succumbed to the tumultuous weather. They were not huddled together in search of comfort, or with wounds indicative of attack from wildlife or foul play. Furthermore, the expected onset of rigor mortis was completely absent. Yet a post-mortem would determine the time of death as several days prior. It's these mysterious details that nag at us. Children should have responded to searches, especially if they heard familiar voices. The lights of surrounding farmhouses would have also been visible by night, and the odds of them dying at the exact same moment in that specific formation? It's beyond improbable. Local reports captured the collective disbelief, stating the police are mystified that they did not find the kids. This area had been scanned repeatedly. Their deaths, later attributed to exposure, only deepened the mystery. How do 3 children, closely knit by bonds of love and blood, simply lay down in tandem, surrendering to the elements? Let's think about this. The spontaneous nature of their deaths, the precise alignment in a semicircle, the missing shoes, and the fact that they were found in a previously scoured area. It all begs the question, what truly transpired in that vast Australian landscape? As with many tales of high strangeness, more questions arose than answers. What sounds did they hear? What hopes did they cling to? The heartbreaking thought of them calling out, lost, and the looming unknown is something that's hard to shake off. And as we dive deep into these mysteries, we must pause and wonder, in our quest for understanding, do we ever really grasp the enigmatic dance between man, nature, and fate? And as we seek answers, we're left pondering, what might the Kendall sisters have seen or felt in their final moments? The sheer confusion, longing for home, or perhaps something much, much stranger. Remember the Kendall sisters and all such stories, for they remind us of the mysteries that persist, waiting for us to unravel them.